Welcome, welcome, welcome back to another Whispers of Wisdom. I'm Christine Renee, and I'm joined with Chantel Ochoa. I'm so excited for this conversation. I was doing a bunch of video editing for Chantel's upcoming masterclass, and I was like, damn, this is going to be good. And so today we're going to be talking about the topics of soul contracts and weaving them together with archetypes and how those two topics combined can really support you live out your best life and really from a very self-aware point of view. And so this is one of my favorite topics that Chantel speaks to, offers wisdom on, because she's so solid in it, and it makes so much sense that I'm really excited to have her on today, because I mean, even last night I'm like, which archetype am I in right now? And I'm like, what would Chantel say? Like,
No, these are absolutely two of my most favorite topics because it's so life-changing. And so weaving them together, merging the two concepts together really does help us stand in our own strength and our own empowerment of who we are, right? So I find that we go from like it's like the process of going from blaming others to taking accountability to realizing nobody is at fault. We're all learning, and they're lessons or human lessons and soul contracts we came in to do. And so it's raising our consciousness and connecting with the earth space and what lessons it has to teach us, what we're here to do. And that's what I love about these two things. It's like our spiritual curriculum, our spiritual like school, but at the same time, this gives us the awareness of who we are and what we're here to do and why we act this a certain way, why we look at things a certain way, and how can we see each other through those lens.
right. Well, and I think too, like for me, it's also recognizing that regardless of where you are, there's always a light and a shadow.
Hmm.
And for me, that was really potent. Like there's this idea that there's something out there that this is perfectly all light without any kind of shadow, and it just does not exist. And every single archetype that you step into has its attributes, and it has its underlying lessons and current to learn from, and how to alchemize that to be in your highest version of who you are. And so I just find, as you explore this journey, it gives you permission to really look at all the places and spaces within yourself that you've been hiding and shrugging away from. And when we can come into a space of that self-awareness of going, yeah, I might hold this archetype, but this is how that darkness can show up, and I'm not going to be afraid of the dark anymore. Like I think there's a lot of, you know, idea that like darkness is bad, shadow is bad, like whatever it is, like we have these connotations of like, let's just ignore that part of ourselves. And there's so much wisdom in her. Uh, there's so much potent energy in her that when we can tap into that and recognize that it's all a blessing in a way,
Yeah.
if things begin to shift in your life of like, you let go of self-judgment because you can recognize that you're okay being all of who you are. I can accept and love all of who I am, and both my like light and my shadow.
Yeah, you get to embrace you and accept you and love yourself on a level that if you are shaming yourself for your shadow, right, then there's a whole part of you that you're not loving, that you're not nurturing, that you're not caring for. And that's what's so important with the light and the shadow. It's like, yes, love through all the light, but then when that shadow comes up, we need to love ourselves even deeper. We need to like take care of ourselves even more, because you can't suppress it and expect it to go away. It's never going to go away. It will wait for us. It will show up when we least need it, when we least expect it, and in the most inappropriate times.
Right.
So it really is like, why don't we just get to know that part of ourselves now? Because we've already been hanging out and carrying it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So it's really important. And I think that the more people are aware of this information and know how tangible it is and how fluid it is in your life, and just the moment you recognize it and you hook with it, you're like, oh yeah, I can see that part of myself. it literally is in seconds of your life that you're like, okay, I see this part and I'm going to love on that. I'm going to release it, whatever you feel you need to do in the moment. But then that brings your balance back in. So it's not like you have to do a long journey of working with your archetypes. You just need to know yours. And your archetype wheel tells you who you are and then shows up everyone else, you know? And everyone else is your mirror. So that's all always fun.
Right. Well, and I think this comes to a really big picture vision of like,
Mhm.
who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Why did I choose this life? What lessons are available to me? Why do I attract the people and certain events in my life and challenges and patterns? Like all of those things show up when we start talking about soul contracts and archetypes. And I think that's why they blend so well together, because you're really available to look at that big picture. And so there's so many people in the world who's like, why? What's the point of all of this? Why am I here? What is this all for? And it's like, oh, here, right here. We have those answers, and it's all very specific to you. And you should definitely check this out.
Yeah, it literally is like a book of yourself, right? We all want to know about ourselves. When anyone goes and has a reading done, has any kind of session done, what are you there to do? You're there to learn about you. So this is another level, another layer of figuring out who you are, decoding your own self, your own life, and opening yourself up. So it is like we can bring in our karmic cycles, but then you know why. Why is that there, you know? Why do I tend to blame others? Why am I on the fence, or I'm always holding on to resentment and anger? Well, this really helps you to unpack all that and to understand why. And it accelerates your healing and the evolution that we're here to do. We're
Right. So
evolving people.
that, I think that's it. It's like this understanding what that we have these unconscious patterns that are going on, and how do we bring the unconscious into the conscious? And
Mhm.
this just puts it right out in front of you. Like I think that's why I love working with the archetypes, is like you choose what's like becomes alive in you as you're looking through all of the different archetypes. There's really, like, I think what's I mean, there's probably well over 100 different archetypes,
Yeah,
but
I think there's like 74, 78 in the deck in the book, but they're unlimited. And
right.
new ones are coming in because as our world evolves
Shift.
and changes and shifts, new archetypes are being created all the time. Like the networker that didn't exist
Right.
60 years ago. So now we have that. We have the social media influencer, you know, we
Right.
have all these are all archetypes. So as soon as I say social media influencer, you know who that is. That's
Right.
someone who's on the, you know, they got their camera, they're in the video, they're live on their social media all the time, right? So that is really how they start coming in because these are spiritual guides. It's energies that come in to help us lift as a people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so cool, is because it's a collective consciousness. We have this idea of what this version of, when I say this word, what it means. And
Hmm.
everyone has this idea. They can put a picture to it. So if I say queen, or if I say victim, or if I say whatever it may be, you can have this visual aspect come to you going, that's what that means. We all have this knowingness inside. And so when you're going through looking at all these different archetypes and going, what's alive in me? What feels true to me? And you're like, not that one. That doesn't fit at all. And then you read a card or look at the book and you're like, dang, that one matches. Maybe I'm comfortable or not comfortable with saying that that is me, but that is true. It's alive in me. Right. And so you're literally sifting
Yes.
through the archetypes. And in that process, you're saying, this is who I am with my light, with my shadow. Oftentimes it's a shadow that's going to reveal, like, oh yeah, you're holding this one. You might not have ever seen the light version of it. It's like the dark
Mhm.
shadow that you haven't had to really deal with or witness in a conscious way. And then you're reading the card, you're like, oh dang, that's my pattern. Shit. Okay. We're putting that in the,
That is
yeah.
my pattern. And then
happening
when
there.
you grow and evolve, so say you come in and you're the orphan child. So you're the child that had abandonment issues growing up, right? Then that orphan child will evolve into the seeker of truth, the seeker of understanding. The seeker then becomes a sage. The sage carries the wisdom, and the wisdom, the sage then becomes the teacher. So when you're evolving with these, there's actually like who you can become, unless you say, I'm the orphan child and I'm stuck there for life. You know, people do that too. We have free will, we have the choice to stay in our victim state, but you don't have to. You can grow and evolve with that. And so as we further advance in our awareness and our healing of ourself and those around us, we grow into more fullness of who we are based off of what we came in here to do.
Right.
And what are they here to teach us? Because there are teachers. So if it's the orphan child, what are we learning? We're learning how to set boundaries. We're learning how to love ourselves. We're learning how to trust, right?
Mhm. So I'm going to ask you a question. Like, I know,
Mhm.
but like, I want to hear your answer.
Okay.
So we have all these archetypes. Who chooses our archetypes? Why these archetypes?
We do on a soul level.
Tell me
So
more
the
about that.
understanding is on a soul level is that now, if you aren't familiar with this, if you go and you research Dolores Cannon, when she was alive, she was a hypnotist, or yeah, but she was very spiritual in her work, and she worked with thousands of people in her lifetime, and they all had the same stories of we would be on the other side, our soul guides would come, and we would have this basically a soul meeting, a meeting of souls that would come together. So you do have to think of it on a much higher scale of thinking, right? You're thinking from the soul perspective. So it's like a meeting of the souls, and you come together and you say, okay, I'm coming in, I'm going to incarnate. And these are the lessons my soul needs to learn in this lifetime. Who wants to work with me? So then you have certain people that come, your parents, your children, your siblings, your best friends, your enemies, all come forward as a soul and say, I'll take this role, I'll take this role, I'll take that. On top of that, we have our guides. So our guides say, okay, well, I'll be the victim, and I'll be, so these certain archetypes start coming forward to help you stay on your path in life, because when we come in, we forget what our purpose is, right? So it's these energetic beings that come in to push us on our journey to keep us in alignment, and so we can learn the lessons and wake up. And the whole thing is to come back to remembering who we are and why we are here.
Right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's
So
a remembering of
it's a
self.
remembering. Right. And so it's
Hmm.
all about this going from this unconscious to this conscious embodiment of the fullness of who we are, and really recognizing that as these different players, characters in our story come forward, which character are they in? Which archetype are they embodying? What is that character or archetype trying to teach us, so that we
Hmm.
learn the lesson and we can continuously evolve and grow and expand into the knowingness of who we are.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
cool.
It is. And it's so expansive. Like you can take the little bit of knowledge and just even a little bit, planting those seeds right now, just a little bit, is it big enough for you to have like a big self-awareness? But the more you dive into it, it's just so expansive. And there's so many layers, because not only are you getting your archetypes, but they're in your house. So your zodiac wheel of 12 houses. So now they're in your each house, so you can see where are each one of my archetypes residing in, and why is that showing up? Well, there you go. If you have the victim in your home, right? Well, yeah, you're probably going to create a lot of chaos in your house. You're going to feel like everyone's against you. You're going to probably have chaos with your parents. You're going to have unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships. But then you heal the victim and you realize, oh, well, they're all just living at the conscious level they're at too.
Right. Well, I'll throw out my own personal experience with this. So in my house of spirituality, my saboteur.
Yeah.
And I am so frustrated with this because I know it. Like I know I have this pattern that when a spiritual lesson is on the horizon, I'm going to throw a freaking tantrum in the spirit world and drag my feet and like fight against it and all of the things. And I probably would get violent in the spiritual world. And my story is so contrast to our students, to most people. Like I just turn into a freaking 2, 3-year-old in the spirit world. And like, I throw a freaking fit because I don't want to do it their way. And then here I am, I'm watching Wednesday, the Netflix series. And
I watched that last night.
Right. Yeah. So and here she is in season 2 trying to find her spirit guide, and no one wants to be her spirit guide. And so it's like the principal from the previous season. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works for me. Like my spirit guide does not want to work with me. I am a pain in the ass. Like we throw down and we get in fights all the time. Like that is my relationship with him. And I'm like, this is so not normal. And then I look at my chart and I go, and it freaking makes sense. This is my pattern. This is why I'm sabotaging in the spiritual world. Like I get it. I get it. Still can be frustrating, but I'm glad that what was once in my unconscious is now in my conscious, so I can come to terms with it and work through it.
Because think about how much suffering that would be for you if you didn't know. If every time you came back from interacting with your guides, you didn't have this information and you're like, why am I always fighting? This isn't healthy. You would be going into blaming yourself. There'd probably be a lot of self-punishment. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. All these negative thoughts would come forward, right? Yeah. But then when you see it, you're like, oh, that totally makes sense.
Right.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah. Like I've had spirit guides possessed by other entities. Like, I mean, it's been a freaking mess in my spiritual world that is so abnormal than anyone I've ever spoke to before. And it makes it really real. And because it's not all light and rainbows. And at the same time, like I can step back and see why things are happening the way they are to teach me lessons of what I need to learn, and lean into where can I find the peace and calm within that? Where can I find the trust and surrender in that? Knowing that this is my underlying habitual nature of the saboteur in my spiritual world.
Yeah. And then with soul contracts, so the archetypes came from me later, but with soul contracts, even though I didn't have the conscious like language for it, I knew throughout my life, like this is big stuff. Like I'm going through so much in my life, like this has to mean something on my spiritual level, right? And then it all did, because all the experiences I went through got me to where I am right now. So if I didn't go through a lot of that, I wouldn't even be able to help the amount of people I can help. Well, I wouldn't be able to provide a service, for what I do.
Well, and I think that's why I have my spiritual world the way it is. Like my house with the saboteur in it is because I have seen all kinds of shit go down in the spiritual world. I've fought my wars, like I've done the things. But so when I need to step up for my clients or my students in the spiritual world, like I just don't feel like I could possibly be surprised anymore. Right. So like I can step in and be their warrior. I can be I can be the fullness of who I am, knowing that like I have the power to navigate the spiritual world in a way that most people can't. Right. And so, and teaching students how to find their own empowerment stories if they run into what feels like dark, heavy energy in the spiritual world. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, been there, done that. Like, here's what we're going to do. Like it can be very easy for me to move into that space because of the experience I've had. Right. So it's like, it all comes back to, having this conscious awareness now, seeing the life purpose in it. Like I do demonic depossessions and home energy clearings and crossover spirits. Like I do all this, like really what some spiritual healers would think is like heavier work. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's not a big deal. Like this isn't hard for me. Like it doesn't scare me. Yeah. Right. And
because you created that contract on a soul level for you to come in and be able to do that, because there was a whole purpose that's going to lead you to the platform in which you're on and where we're at. Right. So in my spirituality, I have the healer. Well, I wasn't the healer growing up in my, 20s and 30s. I was like the wounded hero. I was the saboteur. I was all of that. I could even, I was the destroyer probably, but what ended up happening was, as all of those life experiences started healing, the healer in me came in. That archetype showed up. It was activated because I started healing the aspects of myself that then can say, and now you are ready. Now you're ready to step into a healer, to become an energy healer, to be a Reiki practitioner, all these things that I do now.
Yeah.
But it came into like one Sagittarius, which is my zodiac, my spirituality, the healer. I mean, that's three right there in my primary, in that one pie, in that one chart. And
Yeah.
it's just so amazing when you look at it from this side of the view back to all of it. And I'm like, man, it all makes so much sense. It all makes
So
so much sense.
Chantel taught me this about a year ago. That was the first time she did my chart, was about a year ago. And, you know, it's what is also coming to mind right now is I don't remember which zodiac sign it is. That's your highest potential. I don't remember
I
which
think
one.
it's your 10th house.
My 10th house.
I think so.
And that one is the exorcist. It's the shaman, right? Like, so of course, all these things come together. And now it's like, okay, I see. I see what's happening here, why these different archetypes are showing up in different houses with different attributes to create this soul, like to really come forward with your soul agreements, lessons, and learnings, right? And so when you can have that, you can really start to have this recognition within yourself of like, this is who I am, this is my purpose, this is why these things make sense, and this is why these types of relationships don't work for me, or they do
Mhm.
work for me, because I'm going to honor who I am and I'm going to learn. So by having this self-awareness, you can really start to learn how to diffuse conflict, how to have compassion in your relationship. It really shows you when you need to release a relationship with love, like how do you let that go in a healthy way? Like, it's all about evolving instead of repeating. And I really have learned so much in the last year from working on soul contracts and archetypes with Chantel over this last year. I really think it was that was the first time we did it, was when I visited Hemet, California, where you're at, a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and and there was that moment where you're like, I don't want this card. I don't want this archetype. And it was the queen, and you were like fighting it. And then in the end, you kept going, no, it's these two, it's these two. And then you went back to it and you're like, it is the
Like,
queen.
can't I please
But
have
it
the
is
priestess?
such,
Like, I want the priestess. Can I please have, or the empress? Like, that feels much more. And you're like, and I'm like, no, it's fucking queen. Okay, fine, I'll take it.
but it makes so much sense in the way your personality comes through.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, charting your astrologic or your archetypical will is very much about sitting with each energy, with each archetype, and tuning into the energy of them and seeing how they have played out throughout your life. It's not because you want it. It's not because you're like, oh, I like what that one represents. No, it's really to the core of who you are and seeing the patterns.
I'm laughing because I was in midwifery school when I was 20 years old. Like, and one of my co-midwifery students at school nicknamed me Queen Christine. Like, sometimes, like, it's so funny when you can see your past and be like, yeah, she's been showing up for a while, right? And that idea that I'm going to sit on a throne in my sovereignty and delegate and rule. There was something about that I was like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be seen that way. And yet it is who I am. And
Mhm.
it's part of my archetypal wheel that says, how can you do that benevolently? How can you do that compassionately? How can you do that with as much light as possible? And you can see where she shows up when she's not in her light. And it's a ruler, it's almost dictator like, and it's like, this is the way it is, we're going to move forward this way. And sometimes it's not compassionate, because sometimes rulers don't have the grace, they aren't.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh dang, and so I think this is where there's so much availability to learn, because when you
Yeah.
can have that awareness of like, yeah, I can see her, how she shows up in that shadow and in her light, and in showing up in different ways for different areas, it's like, I get it. And she's got so much responsibility. She's got so
So
much
much.
responsibility to hold for the whole kingdom, right? And so there's a lot of weight on her shoulders to get it right, and to be able to move things forward in a healthy direction, and to create the peace in the realms, and all these things. And sometimes it's hard to hold both. And knowing that that's in my archetypal wheel, it's like I'm really glad that I have the awareness and didn't deny myself that is part of who I am.
Absolutely. Because then you can see how it's in alignment with who you are and who you're becoming and what you're here to do. And
Right.
so it's not having judgment on it, and it's not ego, and I think it's the ego that says, no, I want this one because I like what it means and represents, versus saying, no, speaking truth to yourself. This is what I have. Like, I have the bully in mind. That one's not a fun one to have,
Right.
but am I now? No, but have I been? Yes. And so I can see, and I work with that side of myself
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that that version of me doesn't show up. So that's that self-awareness that is so important to have, because you cannot just go out and be bullying society. You got to know that you're standing in your power, and you're coming in and you're finessing that side of yourself. You know it's there because the shadow is our warrior, but doesn't mean it's going to come through like a bull in a china shop. And that was my earlier younger years, is like, I'm here, and now I'm like, no, that I can tame that. I can finesse that part of me, and it doesn't show up like that. So I've really learned what is in alignment with who I am and where I'm at. And also, like, bringing in our own conscious awareness, it helps eliminate a lot of the chaos.
Right.
And that's where I am too with my family, is
Yeah.
I can really diminish a lot of chaos right now where I couldn't do that before. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have the ability to do it, but now it's like, I noticed even a conversation I had the other day, a quick conversation, but I saw that it was like my mom needed to hear that she was okay. And before, that part of me might not have given that to her, but instead I flipped it around and was like so compassionate with her that she felt all like, oh yeah, and let me tell you about this and this. And it opened her up to share even more. And I'm like, okay, mom, yeah. But it really does a lot of healing. It heals your relationships, it heals you. It just
Yeah.
gives you a broader perspective on life.
Well, and I think with that broader perspective too, it's like even as Reiki practitioners, as shamanic healers, whatever it is, whatever you're practicing, when you can see which archetype your clients are showing up in, that can really help support their healing and transformation, to go, this is what they're embodying right now. They're embodying
Mhm.
the victim. They're embodying the whatever, the bully. Like, I remember having a client probably 10 years ago, and literally we were doing, she had the bully archetype. She had gone through middle school and high school by literally being the bully. And here I am as her practitioner, who had been severely bullied in middle school. And I'm holding space for her to do a shamanic journey to meet her bully, to see how she could be healed and loved and transformed. And, as the practitioner, how do you hold space for that? Right? Like, how do
Yeah.
you stand in your power and your truth and not let your victim come out, to go, nope, I'm right now, I am the healer, I am the practitioner, I am whatever archetype is going to help hold space for the transformation for your client, right?
Yeah.
So having this awareness of soul agreements, of soul contracts, of your archetypes, is it helps healers and practitioners and facilitators understand group dynamics and individuals. And it's just, I can see how it shows up in so many areas of my life, whether it's for myself, for my kids, for my clients. And it just, the more we can bring from the unconscious into the conscious, so that we can be aware, we're making a choice. Like, it comes to a free will choice of like, I am willing to look at my stuff, and I'm willing to make changes, and I'm willing to say yes to all of me, of who I am, self-acceptance, and recognizing like there's lessons and learnings in all of this.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second from the perspective of the practitioner. When you know this information and you're doing intake with your clients and you're doing the integration at the end, and you can be like, oh, yeah, okay, I see the victim, I see the wounded child, I can see this aspect, this. You don't need to sit and have months of conversation. You literally can just dial it in like that. And then they're like, whoa, how do you know me so well? Well, because I can see your archetypes, I see where you're at, how you're processing it, what you're transmuting, what you're not transmuting, what you're still stuck in. So from a practitioner point of view, man, this is on point information. It is really powerful. And when you do the healing, like you were saying for yourself, you get to show up as that space holder for whatever walks through your door. And you're not going to be triggered by their triggers because you already healed your triggers. So now you just get to hold the space, which is extremely powerful as practitioners.
Right.
So
Right.
know that this information plays on both the personal healing as well as advancing the practitioner's point of view.
Yeah. And I think that's where, like I can use this every day for myself, but wow, what a powerful facilitator I can step into when I bring this into my client sessions.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's really powerful work. I'm like, I love it. I really do. I'm just like, I'm over here playing in the space all the time because I'm like, oh, look who's showing up now. Like,
Yeah.
it's very often that I'm like, where's my book? Where's my sheet? I need to look at that again. And because there's times in your life where things get hard or you're kind of down on yourself or whatever it may be. And then having that time for self-reflection of going, what's going on here? And
Yeah.
how can I work through this? Where do I need support? And when can you be in that space? Guess what? You're going to help your clients and students on such a deeper level if you can take the time for yourself to do it first.
Hmm. And I think right now, especially with for a lot of us, like talk about like shamans, like
Yeah.
I don't have that background, but that archetype is so alive in me. I have the shaman heart. Like, you have the shaman heart. Like we have this. So it's the archetype that is alive in us that stepped in and said, okay, you will walk this journey, this path. And everything has aligned us to it to you can't even deny it. The heartstrings are pulled, the soul contracts are being played out, and there's nothing we can do at some point to deny it unless you are in true denial of self. Then
Right.
that's, you're working with the beginning aspects of what we're talking about. But when you get beyond that, you can say, yeah, this is why this is showing up in my life. Because there were times where I'm like, where did this come from? And then it was just like, oh, there it is. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I agreed to it. I'm here to do the work.
Right. Right. Oh, we're here to do the
Yeah.
work. Because when you live in this consciousness of recognizing where those cycles, those patterns are coming in, it's like you can see through the chaos.
Yeah.
So tell me more about how that works for you in your world.
I think that's where the sacred witness comes in.
Mhm.
So, like with everything that's going on our worldly platform right now, we have the choice. We have the choice to dive in and be in the chaos of it, emotionally attached, mentally attached, financially. We speak on it, which then whatever we speak, the universe gives us. So then, if we're talking scarcity, if we're talking war, if we're talking famine, whatever, we will see that in our world, in our life, in our personal world, right? But if you can become the witness of it and be the balancer of offering love and compassion to what's happening, and in your world, you're working on that and you're talking about healing, you're talking about um, abundance and that the world itself is awakening, that's what you start to see. That's the light that you are working with. Those are the archetypes you're working with. That's the soul contract that you're working with. So for me, it's like I can step back and not be involved in the chaos because I can see the other side of it. And what is it going to do? How am I going to help anyone if I'm so sucked into the chaos that I can't help? I can't help myself, can't help nobody. So then I'm like, come, let's gather, let's have circle, let's talk about things, let's do some healing work, let's drum it out. Whatever needs to show up, that's what shows up. And then people show up in their light because you're giving a platform for that versus the shadow when everyone wants to and you gossip on it, and then you leave feeling so freaking heavy and you're like, fuck, what am I doing? Life is heavy, and then you carry that burden when you actually can be the one that's here to help heal that and transmute that energy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be a lot walking through this world. And I know I've said it before, but we didn't come to earth for a vacation. We came for our soul agreements. We came for these contracts. We came to learn these lessons. And the world is shaped to kind of poke at that. So people will wake up, right? Like it's
Yeah.
got to be in the shadow. It's got to be on the dark side. It's got to be on this heavier end so that people can bear witness to how they're contributing to it.
Yes, 100%. And right now, if you're looking out there, there's millions of people standing up, millions of people gathering and in love, because people want change. People are ready for change. And that's what we're here. We're shifting it. We are watching it. We're here to do it. And so depends on what channel you tune into, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
So pay attention. So look for the lighter version of what's going on out there, because the more you do that, the more you're going to lift up your own spirit and
that's,
connect with others. So, yeah.
yeah. So we get to like step into this place of embracing what's emerging within you because
Mhm.
there is in that self-awareness through all of it, you can be able to step in your full embodiment of your power, of your passion, of your purpose, of your mission, and really start acting that out. And not everyone's missions are easy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there are some people who just like, oh yeah, this is my mission is spreading the love and light, and I'm just going to stay like, and I'm just like, well, lucky you. Like right, like I'm not going to deny them their truth. And I'm like, there's a lot of people who come in with missions to be the saboteur, to be these heavier, darker archetypes, because they're the ones who are waking up everyone around them. So they're
Yeah.
in a position of self-sacrifice in a timeline, because by them being in their almost like their nastiness, right? Then everyone around them is having to create boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes, sometimes there's there's a witnessing of I can accept my life and where I'm at with the relationships that I have in my world, knowing that some of the people in my life came here to choose to be my teacher, and the way they're teaching me is through their darkness, through
Mhm.
their antagonistic actions, through their shadow side, and they're embodying it so damn well that I can, on the surface, I just want to, you know, go to battle. And then when I realize what's going on and going, what are they trying to teach me here? I don't need a battle. I need boundaries, right? I don't
That
need to.
is such, and that's it. That's the biggest question is, what are they trying to teach me? What is this person here to teach me? What is this mirror? We're all a reflection of each other. So it's like, what do you have? Like if you have envy towards someone, why? Why do you feel that, right? It's because they have in themselves what you want in yours,
Right.
right? So you have to look at it like either you can use them as an inspiration and say, you inspire me and I want to, walk that kind of walk. So I'm going to go and build that for myself. Or you can sit in the shadow and have the envy of it where you're have that evil eye and you're going to be more negative and you're going to shoot that negativity and you're not going to build it for yourself.
Mhm.
So it really is finding the balance. So when you have someone like you're saying that's going to be narcissistic, or they come in and they're antagonizing you, is to wake you up and to force you into your own triggers of, why am I still being triggered by this?
Yeah.
And that's an opportunity to do the work for yourself and to be able to close the chapter on that, to release it, to close the door and say, that no longer aligns with me, and I get to shift and pivot and move this way in life now.
Yeah.
Change the timeline, collapse the old timelines, And when we do that, yes, we are embodying and embracing our highest version of ourselves. And we can continue to grow from there.
Yeah. Okay, on that note,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that you have got an amazing upcoming masterclass, and it's not like anything we've done before because it's long. I mean,
It's long.
it's long and it's on purpose. Like I feel like to really grasp all this information, to really deep dive on it so that you can really utilize your archetypes and transmute and step into your fullness power. We needed this length. And
Yeah.
I've edited some videos and like prepared the back end with Chantel, and I'm like, this is gonna be damn good. So will you let our listeners know like what you doing, what's coming up, when are we doing it, all the
Yeah.
things?
So we're definitely, I'm offering an 8-week class, master class that starts October 9th.
Mhm.
And so we will meet once a week, but you're going to have all your pre-recorded videos to watch. And during this 8-week course, we're going to deep dive into our soul contracts. I'm going to share my contract with you. You're going to map your own contract. And then we're going to be able to understand why and how that happens. And then we're going to move into our archetypes. So our 4 collective archetypes are the victim, the saboteur, the prostitute, and the child. And we're going to work with each one of those for 1 full week. So you're going to be observing it. You're going to witness it in yourself. You're going to transmute it within yourself. You're going to integrate all of that. And you're going to stand in the power of its light version, which is the warrior, the lover for the prostitute. So it's the warrior, the magician, the lover, and the sovereign child. So as we work through each one of these, we're going to go through meditations to meet our journey to our guides. So you can actually meet the victim in yourself, and you're going to meet the magician in yourself. So you can really, this is tangible work. This is like live class in action happening in your world. You're going to work with them. You're going to keep track of everything that you've done. There's homework, there's a workbook, there's journey prompts, there's all kinds of stuff going on in it,
Can I
just so that we can learn how to work with ourselves.
One of my favorite things with the schedule itself is that there's a break over Thanksgiving. So it's like you learn
Yes.
all of this stuff and it's like now go deal with family and see how it all shows up. And then we're going to meet the week
And that's
after
totally on
Thanksgiving.
purpose. So you
It
get
is.
2 weeks over Thanksgiving to really integrate. And when you come back, it's integration. Like we're doing the work over that period. So when you go to family, you're going to have all these tools to recognize yourself, your triggers, and your family members and go, oh my gosh, I never looked at us this way. And then you can work with you and say, I can alchemize this, set yourself up with it, and be successful. So you can sit at the table with your family and not feel like you're that 10-year-old or 15-year-old kid with mom and dad, right? Now you get to
I,
be your adult version.
I just think it's like the craftiest way to put this all together because when you have soul contracts, it's with your family, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like everyone, like you will be able to see the characters at Thanksgiving and going like, yeah, I know who everyone is here. Like I know how they're playing their part and having that self-awareness. It's just gonna be like to me, I'm like that's just gonna be a little mind-blowing. Like I
And
can't wait.
I love that because you might think you're the most healed person, but then you go hang out with family and you go, dang,
Yeah, then you go
I'm
right.
so wounded. What's going on? What happened? Who am I? And you
Yeah.
leave thinking, like, what the heck just happened in there? How did I lose my shit?
Right. I know. And it's like every holiday season, we really try to put out material that's like how to heal through the holidays or how to stay in your authentic truths during the holidays. Like we have all these like podcasts and different things that we do during the holiday season. It's like, but this is what they need, right? Like
Yeah,
a one-time podcast isn't going to do it. This is what they need to really be able to go into the holiday season feeling clear and confident and knowing who they are so they don't waver, right? Like you might
yeah,
waver, but you're going to be able to come right back into alignment.
yeah. So it is 8 weeks long. You get me for 90 minutes to 2 hours once a week, and then we go through all of it. Q&A, we go through the presentation that you watch. like I said, we do a guided meditation, a guided journey to go up to the upper world and to meet your archetypes. You're going to map out your own. We're going to chart your own zodiac. So your archetypical wheel, we're going to chart 4 of them. So you're going to have 4 out of your 12 completed. You're going to see really where you are. And I'm going to be there to support you. So not only that, you're going to be supported, you're going to have your own chat and your own group with your cohort and all of that. So to me, it's an amazing way to do it. And I don't know if there's anyone else out there that's doing it quite in the way that I'm doing it.
No,
I've
there's
taught this
not.
several times now, and people walk away like, dude, it's power, and it's changing their lives. And that's the thing. It changes your life. If you take this information and you apply it, it's going to change you
Right.
because it's
That's
coded
it.
in you to wake up to your archetypes.
Yes.
It's
Right.
a remembering.
Yeah, it totally is. And I think it's
Yeah.
changed the way I perceive the world. The more I get into it, the more I want more. The more I just want more. I want more. Like I've read the books, I've done the things, but now I'm like, oh, but Chantel's course is going to be so hot. It's like, I'm really excited for it. So
Yeah.
we will get that information out into all of the places and spaces here shortly. If you're listening to the podcast, be sure to check the show notes. We're going to have the information to sign up there. We start October 9th. So there is a time to sign up. This is going to be a juicy, rich, enlivening, aligning 8-week masterclass. So if you're interested and you have questions, feel free to reach out to Chantel. She can answer your questions over on Facebook Messenger. You can email us over at mystics@moonrisinginstitute.com. We're here to support you. We love you all. We thank you so much for showing up, for listening, for doing the work, for getting curious, for bringing what's in the unconscious into the conscious, from recognizing what your shadows are and loving all the aspects and parts of yourself. Like we're here for all of it. So thank you so very much. And until next time, may you awaken to the whispers of wisdom rising from within. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.